Hello guys, welcome to the next webinar. We created for native ads especially. So I see that the number of the attendees is not yet the one that have signed up for the webinar. So we might want to wait a little bit for the other guys to join. So as mentioned in our email, in this webinar, we are going to talk about how to create the right auto-optimization rule for native ads, because we've seen that quite sometimes people get a bit confused when creating rules as well, especially when trying to automate their most time-consuming stuff, like blocking publishers at certain criterias, or pausing ads at certain criterias, creating their block publisher list, automating or simplifying their campaign creation, as well as playing with bids. Also, another thing that I see quite often happening is the thing that quite some guys are unable to schedule their bidding strategy. So in today's presentation, I will go into a detailed examples of rules, as well as live walkthrough on the platform. I have created some examples that you can refer to, like I've taken in consideration some example payouts for that, but by the end of the day, what you want to do is that you want to let's say adapt them to your specific needs or to your specific offers. Now that currently, because many of you may not know it, currently we are live on 3 forums as well, like STM Forum, Uplift, and Mud Society. So I will try to keep up with all possible sources in terms of questions and answers. So if you don't get any answer quickly, by the end of my presentation, I will try to get over all possible questions, as well as answer with real examples to your specific needs. So without delaying much, I would like to start with the basics. So when you first create an account at theoptimizer, what you want to do is that you want to connect your accounts, and here you can connect all possible or all major traffic source and tracker accounts. So to start with, you connect your Outbrain, Taboola, Rev Content, Yahoo Gemini, MGID, Volume DSP, AdsKeeper, Content Ad, Run Native, or Active Revenue account in the optimizer. Then you move forward with connecting your tracker, and by doing that, you just have to wait like 10 to 15 minutes for the system to pull your campaign data, then be able to see your campaign statistics on the optimizer. So let me change my screen share here. All right, so here to do it, all you need to do is to go over the account wizard and add the traffic source, like here. Select the traffic source on the new traffic source adding menu, like Outbrain, MGID, Rev Content, or whatever the traffic source it is. You just fill out the details of your traffic source in like API or username and password. Then move forward to the next step, where you add the tracking platform. And here I will not try to spend much time on this, because this is somehow self-explanatory. So you just pick a tracker, enter the account name, the API key, and tracker URL, as well as any custom domains that you are using with it. Then move to the next step, where you specify that which of the connected traffic source accounts belongs to the traffic source configuration found on your tracker. And here, unfortunately, I don't have an Outbrain account. I will just go back, because I want to show you a specific configuration or step in the configuration. So let's say I'm using Yahoo Gemini, and in case I'm not having one of these required tokens, this will affect the way how the data is being aggregated within inside the optimizer. So in case you are missing any tokens, just make sure to edit the configuration on your traffic source, then update your campaign links or tracking codes with the right code on to fulfill this gap in terms of tokens. Once you click finish, it will take like 10 to 15 minutes, as I said earlier, and you will be able to get the campaigns here listed on the campaigns dashboard. And let me pull some data here for you, where you will be able to see all traffic source and tracker statistics combined in one place. So you will have the actual CPC, the daily budget or budget, and when you see these blue underlined values, you have the ability to change these values or to modify them without having to go to the traffic source. So let's say I'm changing the budget of this campaign to $500 or the daily budget to $200, or even change the bid of the campaign on the campaign level, not on the site level, to let's say 25 cents. Now, here I will see as well all the details of these campaigns, like traffic source clicks, tracker clicks, landing page click-through rate, tracker conversions, average cost per acquisition on the campaign level based on tracker conversions, cost on the traffic source, revenue on the tracker, as well as have a real picture or an accurate picture of what is going on with my campaign. Because when we are optimizing separately or without a tool like this, where we can have the cost and revenue aggregated almost live for native traffic sources, we will have to jump back and forward from the traffic source to the tracker, calculate some data or aggregated data on an Excel spreadsheet, and then be able to create an idea of what is going on with our campaign. And obviously, this requires time. Even if you're an Excel ninja, it still requires time, and it still will delay your decision making. So in this case, we have all the data here in one place, and like we have it on the campaign level, we can have it on the widget level. Like we can see what sites and publishers are performing well on our campaign, or which sites or publishers are not performing well on our campaign. What is their average CPC? What is their actual CPC in case we have the ability to bid on a specific site or publisher? We can see the EPC, the net profit, the ROI, the landing page click-through rate. So all the details of our campaigns where we can optimize on that are broken down into traffic source and tracker statistics, so that we can see everything on a clear picture. The same goes with the contents. Like we can see all the details of a specific ad, as well as headline, including its preview in terms of cost, conversions, revenue, ROI, and stuff like that. And moving forward to the next is the data readability, like how easy it is to read the data on our dashboard. So basically, you can select all the data that you need by simply clicking on the columns bottom at the top right corner of your screen. So you can easily, let's say, deselect the content preview or content ID, move up the status, or change the order like this. So it's pretty straightforward, and you can do this on all levels of the optimizer. Then I would like to focus mostly on the rules and move forward with the rules, because I know that it is the crucial part. Besides the accuracy of the data, is like the main part of or core functionality of the platform. So we work with different data, and when working with rules, you can combine various data, like from the traffic source, tracking platform, or even Google Analytics. So from the traffic source, on almost all traffic sources, we pull the number of impressions on campaign, ad, or widget level. We pull the number of clicks happening on the ad level on the traffic source. We pull the number of conversions in case you are reporting them back on the traffic source, revenue, spent, earnings per click in case you're posting the revenue. We can pull the click-through rate of the ads on the widget ad, as well as campaign level, and as well as calculate the net profit, the conversion rate, ROI, cost per acquisition, average CPC, and other metrics like this. And for traffic sources like Taboola and Outbrain, we do have the estimation of the spend, net profit, and ROI. While on the tracking platform, we can pull the clicks like campaign link visits, conversions, revenue, landing page clicks, landing page click-through rate, tracker conversion rate, net profit, ROI, cost per acquisition, tracker earnings per click, as well as EPC, which is a special metric calculated based on the revenue on the tracker and the clicks on the traffic source, which is the most accurate one in case you're optimizing based on EPC. And if you're using Google Analytics, you have the ability to optimize to create rules based on page views, average time on page, bounce rate, earnings per session, earnings per view, bounces, especially for those guys that are running traffic arbitrage through AdSense. You can optimize based on AdSense revenue, earnings per AdSense clicks, AdSense ad units viewed, AdSense ads clicks, and so on and so forth. So the rule creation is quite flexible, and in case you need them, you can combine, as well as a special thing which is quite handy for those guys that are that would like to work with more data to optimize their campaigns. Using the optimizer, you are able to combine the traffic source tracker, click tracker, as well as Google Analytics data in one place. So let's say you're optimizing based on landing page clicks, and at the same time you want to optimize based on new users, or time on page, or average time on page, or bounce rate and stuff like that. So you can quickly and easily combine a rule with based on the traffic source spend, tracker landing page clicks, and bounce rate, or session duration, or average time on page. So that is something that you can easily do. And moving forward, I would like to go over a few examples, and I will try to go from the basic ones to the most advanced ones, and some of the cases where some of our users have seen some difficulties creating the rules. So the first one would be the first use case I would like to go through would be to block any publishers or sites or widgets based on their click-through rate. So we take in consideration here the traffic source clicks. So we expect to have at least 50 clicks on the ad level on the traffic source, but here we're talking about the publishers or sites. So we are counting the ad click on the publisher level. Then the second metric is the landing page clicks. So we have set it to be less than 1, and I've done this on purpose because you can combine, or you can change the operators as long as it makes sense to what it's easier for you to understand. So I've set the landing page clicks to be less than 1, and tracker conversion to be less or equal than 0, which in both cases we are blocking all publishers that have sent 50 clicks from the traffic source but haven't generated at least 1 click on the landing page, and at least 1 conversion on our offer. As well as if you see at the bottom of the screen here, of the screenshot, we have selected multiple campaigns from multiple sources, because such rules are almost global. Like this kind of rules can be applied on all kinds of all supported traffic sources, in exception to Outbrain, which for all guys that are running Outbrain, they should already know that by now. But for anyone who is not running Outbrain but is thinking to jump on Outbrain you have a limit of, if I'm not wrong, 30 widgets, while the rest of the optimization is being done on the section level, which are sub-entities of the widgets. So in that case, you would like to create such rules on the section level for Outbrain, not on the widget level, because you may reach the limit quite quickly. And the second use case I would like to move forward is based on the spend. So let's say I'm leaving only $15 of ad spend on the traffic source on each publisher, and I'm expecting to get at least one landing page clicks and one conversion. If not, I will block the publisher, and I'm having the system to check for these conditions if they are true over the course of the last 14 days. So it doesn't mean that it will spend like 14 days for these thresholds to be met, but as soon as it meets these thresholds, it will be able to block the publisher. Just a second, please, because I think I have a raised hand, and I'm not sure if there's any pending questions. So yeah, we have one which says, which is the best native advertising platform to you, according to you? Well, that varies. That varies a lot. Like the best traffic network depends almost on the offer that you are running, as well as the flow that you have. But I would say mostly on the offer that you are running and the policy that you can deal with. So in case you're talking about white hat products or e-commerce products that can be run almost everywhere, and you can see success on Taboola, you can see success on Outbrain, you can see success on Yahoo Gemini, which unlike all traditional native ad networks, they support some kind of call to action buttons, so you can split test the call to action buttons quite easily. We have another questions from Marcel. With Taboola, what is a good time interval to execute rules? So with Taboola, there's a thing with the delay of stats that they tend to delay the statistics with a few hours. So in that case, option A would be to use your tracker statistics, and by that I mean to optimize based on your tracker clicks. To give you a more accurate example, I would like to go to rules. And if I'm blocking publishers after 50 clicks on the traffic source without any landing page clicks, because sometimes some clicks get counted as zero on the traffic source due to poor quality, then I would like to create a block publisher rule based on tracker clicks. So in this case, I would go like if tracker clicks are greater or equal to, let's say, 80, and landing page clicks are less than 1, or let's say less or equal to 0 without conversions, and here we're talking about tracker conversions, are less or equal to 0, then I would like to execute this rule every 10 minutes, and here you can easily be on the safe side. So like if you're too concerned, like you may have, let's say, 30% of the clicks from bot placements, which are not counted by Taboola, then you can easily move the first threshold to 100. So in that case, you're expecting to have at least 100 campaign link visits and no landing page clicks and conversions from all the widgets before killing any widget that meets these conditions and set the block action to Taboola. And in terms of sending the block action to Taboola, that goes straight away to Taboola's API. So in case you don't see it, report it right on time. It doesn't mean that the block action hasn't gone on Taboola. It is simply a delay that Taboola has, but as an additional solution that could be, or you can use the initial example I showed you guys and keep up with that and have the rules execute easily, like from 10 minutes up to every 30 minutes. But I would say 10 minutes for blocking publishers that are not generating any landing page clicks and any conversion would be safer, because it will act even quicker and prevent any excessive spend on your campaigns, so that you can allocate that part of the budget to the other publishers. So I have another question. Are there any good reasons not to use Google Analytics? You seem only to have a few places, but not everywhere. There's another question. We have also. I will get back to the other one. We also have a limit on the section level for Outbrain. Do you still think that we have to block only on the section level, or we can also try to on a publisher level? So I will get back to Alex in just a few seconds, because with Google Analytics we have some more use cases. So with Outbrain, you can do two things. The first one would be to block on the section level, and by this I mean create a pause section rule where you can block like we do with publisher. So let's say if traffic source clicks, sorry guys, if traffic source clicks are greater or equal to 50 and landing page clicks are less than 1 and conversions on the tracker are less than 1, block the publisher. And you can do it here like every 10 minutes, or you can do using the span. You can do the block action of the sections using the span. So let's say if traffic source span is greater or equal to $20 without any landing page click. So I believe we don't have any guy that would like to have a cost per landing page click of around $20 and expecting to convert with a positive ROI on a $10 or $15 offer payout. So the first case would be to use the pause section rule, and the other use case would be to do it by lowering the bid. So let's say on the section level, you would like to change the section bid. So we set up the same condition. So let's say if spent on the traffic source is greater or equal to 50, and here we deal with the limits that that Outbrain has with the number of sections that you may block, and conversions. Let me simplify it here. And conversions are less than 1 or less or equal to 0. Then you want to set the bid to a specific amount in dollars. So we can set it to 3 cents, which is usually the minimum allowed on Outbrain, or we can drop the bid by 99% and set the limit, sorry, by minus 99%, by 99%. Yes, I was correct. And I will just keep this change like this and set the bid like the minimum allowed, let's say $0.02 or 2 cents, and leave the system play with it until Outbrain supports it. So if we have reached the limit of blocked sections, what we can do is that we can play with the bits on the section level. Of course, we will need to change the bits, even increase the bits or play around with the bits for publishers that are performing well, and we would like to go over a specific or we would like to reach a specific CPC and DPC correlation. But in this case, this is a second use case or an alternative workaround to Outbrain sections to deal with the limit of block widgets or block sections. Sorry. And I will try to go back to Alex. Are there any good reasons not to use Google Analytics? You seem to only have it in a few places, but not everywhere. So Google Analytics, first off, with Google Analytics, there are some kind of delays. And by delays, I mean it doesn't respond as quickly as a click tracker in terms of reporting. The second reason is that most affiliates base their optimization or build their campaigns with a click tracker, as it offers them let's say the flexibility of rotating the landing pages, rotating the offers, as well as uh, keep track of the conversions on the network using postbacks. But definitely, if you're working with your own e-commerce offers, or you're promoting your own e-commerce store, and you have built a specific landing page, like using a an additional app on your Shopify store or on your WooCommerce store, or whatever the e-commerce platform it could be, you can easily track landing page clicks using Google Tag Manager and fire a specific event. So let's say on goal one, you track you track clicks on goal one on Google Analytics, and on goal two you track the add to carts, and on goal three you track procedure to checkout, and on goal four or five you track the purchase or the purchase amount. So there are users that are currently doing it and are using it on a daily basis. So what they do is that uh, they run their first batch of traffic through a click tracker or directly to a landing page on their traffic on their e-commerce platform. Then build rules like if you see in the conditions of the rules, we have the tracker fields, we have the traffic source fields, then we have the Google Analytic fields. So what you can do here is that you can play around quite a lot with the conditions as long as they make sense. So let's say if the traffic source spent is let's say you're optimizing for add to carts. So let's say you want to block any publishers, to go over a real example, even though I had this scheduled a bit later during the presentation. So let's say if the spend on the traffic source is greater than 30, so you're giving each publisher at least $15 as an example for expecting at least one add to cart, which is on Google Analytics goal 2. So we specify if goal 2 competition is less or equal to 0, so you give twice the accepted cost per add to cart to each of the publisher before blocking them. So if any of the publishers sending traffic to your campaign over the course of the last 14 days reaches the limit of $30 of ad spend without having at least one add to cart, then you can easily block it. Like specify the campaign that you want to assign the rule to and have it run every 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever makes sense for you in terms of optimization. So the thing is that you can optimize aggressively, like every 10 minutes, and in most cases, 10 minutes is not giving enough time to the visitor to interact with the ad. In case you're including impressions on your conditions. But if you're talking about clicks, I think 10 minutes is enough for the average landing page to be read and for the visitor to be excited on taking the click action towards the offer or making it curious to check out the offer or the product that you are promoting on your landing page. So moving forward, I would like to go over another example, which is use case 3. So we can block publishers based on low ad click-through rate, and this is quite useful for those cases where we are buying traffic on CPM basis. So if you're buying on CPC, maybe you don't care much about the click-through rate of the ad, other than judging the ad if the ad is strong and it has a good click-through rate. So when you're running on CPC, you just pay for the clicks and you just don't care about the click-through rate. Or in case you're buying on a CPM basis, like you do on Volume DSP, which is DSP sourcing various offer traffic networks, you can create rules based on the number of impressions, the click-through rate, and tracker conversions. So unless you want to spend a lot without creating automatic rules based on impressions, then you can move forward and do rules based on click-through rate, on traffic source clicks only. But in this case, let's say we are giving each publisher or each site, depending on the campaign and depending on the number of exchanges that we have included on our campaign, we're giving each site 20,000 impressions and expecting to have at least a 0.02 percent click-through rate on the ad level. And if after these metrics or these thresholds have been met and we don't have a single conversion, then we want to block the publisher. Or we can create the rule based on landing page clicks, as this one might be a bit too aggressive. Like sometimes it takes a few landing page clicks before seeing any results when we are working with landing pages. So this is a use case just to create it, to show you a use case of working with CPM-based ad purchase. And another use case would be to block the publishers based on the CPA. So let's say you are getting traffic from some publishers that are converting, but somehow they still keep on having a high cost per acquisition. So in order to make sound decisions, you would like to give them a specific ad spend amount, and that in this example I have given it like $300 of ad spend and expecting to have at least 3 conversions before making any decision, and I'm optimizing based on the last 7 days. And in case after $300 and more than 3 conversions, one of my publishers is still having a cost per acquisition higher than $18, which is in my example campaign or in my example offer the highest acceptable cost per acquisition, then I'm going to block these publishers. Of course, you can add an additional condition like if the tracker ROI is worse than minus 50%, which would make more sense, and play with the conditions from the traffic source and the tracker and dynamic metrics quite easily. But as an example, I believe this creates the picture on how easy it is to optimize based on cost per acquisition, even on the publisher level after a few conversions. Another use case would be to do it on a negative ROI. So here in use case 5, we are giving all converting publishers, like I mentioned earlier, all converting publishers at least $300 of ad spend. And after $300 of ad spend, and here we're talking on a second stage of the campaign, they have more than they have at least 1 conversion, and their tracker ROI is worse than minus 80%, then we would like to block that publisher. So we don't need to keep that up for much more. Another use case would be based on average CPC. So let's say we are optimizing based on traffic source ad spend, average CPC, and EPC, which we've seen that some guys do, and these type of rules have helped them on creating or optimizing their campaigns quite easily. So as an example, we're giving a $50 of ad spend on each publisher on over the course of the last 3 days. And here in this example, we're talking about high ad spend campaigns. And if we are setting a condition based on average CPC and actual EPC. So if the average CPC is greater than 50 cents and the average EPC, earnings per click, is less than 45 cents, then we would like to block these publishers. And in this example, we are losing, so we would like to block anything that meets or exceeds these conditions. And especially when working with click arbitrage or ad arbitrage campaigns, this could be quite useful. And I would like to go over another example of unblocking publishers, because until now we have talked only about blocking publishers. So let's say we have an offer which is reporting conversions with delay, And for some reason, for this very reason, we managed, or the system managed, to block this publisher just because the conversion file was reported with delay from our offer network, and it has met the conditions. So in this case, what I'm doing is that I'm creating a simple rule, like if over the course of the last 14 days, obviously it won't take 14 days to know if the conversions are with delay or not, but if over the course of the last 14 days we have a tracker any publisher with positive tracker ROI, then we would like to unblock it. So all we want to do is we go to the rules and create an unblock publisher rule like this. So let's say if during the last 7 days the ROI of a publisher is greater than zero on these campaigns, then I would like to unblock these publishers, and I'm having the rule executed every 10 minutes in order to avoid losing any good or quality clicks from a profitable publisher. Also, as you may have seen in the next example, I have added some widgets excluded from this list. So this feature helps a lot in case we have issues with the quality we are sending to the publisher. So what do we want to do about the quality we are sending to the advertiser or the offer network? So in case our account manager at the affiliate network or the advertiser is complaining about the quality from a specific publisher, so let's say I have these publishers here. So if the affiliate network is complaining about the quality of leads or sales that we are sending from these publishers, we can easily include these publishers from the unblock publisher rule without having to return back to the same discussion with our account manager of sending poor quality traffic. So in this case, we unblock any publisher that we are good with the quality, except those that are fine with the quality. Also, another example of this publisher exclusion would be on the block publisher rules. So let's say we are running a campaign on Taboola, Red Content, Outbrain, or whatever the traffic source is. I just happen to have the Taboola publishers here. So let's say I want to optimize very aggressively on all publishers except this one. So let's say I'm having MSN, US, whatever the placement is called, and I want to block any publisher with at least 20 traffic source clicks. So I'm giving 20 clicks on the traffic source, and landing page clicks at least 1. So I'm having less or equal to 0, and conversions are at least 1. So if the conversions are 0, landing page clicks are 0, and I have received at least 20 or more clicks from a specific publisher, besides these ones where I want to receive traffic from, I will block it right away. So it's quite effective, and for those guys who are seeking to get traffic from specific placements, like bidding pretty high on those placements and things like that, it is easier to avoid any rules blocking your potential publishers or the ones that you are trying to get traffic from by adding them to the widgets to be excluded from a specific list. So another thing I would like to go through is the creation of bad publishers or block list, which is done through SmartList at the Optimizer. So we have two ways of creating it. The first one would be to go over a specific campaign. Let's say I'm doing it for MGAD in this example. So I'm going to MGID. I'm requesting the last 30 days worth of data from this campaign. And I don't have much traffic here. However, I still have some data. So what I will do here, I will just filter the widgets by only blocked widgets. I will select them all and create smart list and click on create smart list. So let's say this is crypto in, I don't know, Italy on mobile devices. And I will create this list of blocked widgets from this campaign, which is automatically included in the campaigns reading this list. And what I can do now is that I can add another campaign to read from this list. So whenever this second campaign receives traffic from a specific publisher like that is present on this list, it can be automatically blocked. Also, in addition, what I can do is that I can assign a specific automatic rule that will write to this list. So let's say if any of the publishers sending traffic from MGAD is being blocked by any of these automatic rules, it means that these rules will add those publishers to this list. So let's say publisher, this publisher here got added to this rule to this list by the first rule, then this other publisher here got added to this list by the second rule, and once they are added to this list, they are being sent to both campaigns to be blocked on both campaigns. So we don't have to spend multiple times the same amount of money on all publishers, but we can do it only once. And once it reaches the threshold on one campaign, we can share it on other campaigns as well. The other way of creating a smart list would be to go to smart lists and create a new one from scratch. So let's say I'm creating a blacklist smart list for Outbrain, or let's say Rev content, and I have a blank smart list that I would like to start creating from a new campaign. And let's say I'm calling it ecom EOS mobile. And here I will just add the rules that would like to add to populate this list. And then I will just add all the campaigns I would like to add this list to, or to assign this list to. Another thing you can do is that you can leave the campaigns list off, like without adding any campaigns to this list, and it will automatically start collecting the publishers. Just create a list from the campaigns that are reading from this, that are using these rules. And whenever ready, you can just add the campaigns to this smart list and share the list with other campaigns. One thing I would like to suggest is to keep the list as narrow as possible in terms of targeting. So let's say if you have a specific offer on a specific vertical and you are creating, you are running it on a specific browser, let's say, like it could be a use case that you guys may have seen could be the MacKeeper offer. So let's say you're running MacKeeper on US traffic, but only targeting iOS, Macintosh devices, or only targeting Safari. Then you don't want to mix up that list with campaigns that are running e-commerce offers that accept traffic from all kinds of browsers. So because you have no limits here, you can create as much lists as you would like to. So don't be conservative about the list. Only make sure that you create the lists as accurate as possible so that you can easily reuse them later on for your future campaigns and start campaigns pre-optimized. So you don't have to waste the same amount of budget, and you don't have to test a whole lot of things without being able to see if these new campaigns has any potentials of becoming profitable. Let me check a few comments. We have a message from Ray, which says, I have always had a problem when I implement rules. Then the widget get no traffic. how do you battle this uh, and still get traffic and make widgets profitable at scale? So one use case would be where you pause the campaign. Let's say you schedule the campaign to run on specific hours, and somehow some traffic sources penalize you for pausing the campaign. However, when widgets don't get any traffic, the first thing to do maybe would be to play with the bits. So if you're running on rep content, you can play with the bits on the widget level. If you're running on Outbrain, you can do it on the section level or odd level, and Outbrain has some specifics compared to the other sources. Or if it is from Taboola, then it is you can simply increase the bid. Also, one thing to check is with your account manager if there is any issue with your product from getting traffic from a specific placement, because sometimes there are those cases where specific websites don't like specific ads to be advertised on their inventory, and that's something that your account manager can help you to find out if that's the case. But if it is a matter of bidding, you can easily bid higher or increase the bids and see if the bid change will improve the results over from the publisher. And also, if you're running on a big scale and you know that the publisher works and you want to make sure that you keep the campaign or you keep the traffic from the publisher profitable, you can set the bids based on sorry guys, you can set the bid based on EPC, which I will go through an example pretty quickly. So I covered already the part of the smart leads creation. Something else that you can do is that you can automate your ads pausing routine. So let's say you're giving each ads 3 times your offer payout without any conversions. So like we created the pause publisher the pause publisher rules, we can do it on the ad level as well. So let's say we're giving $45 to each of the ads, and this is just for an example. And if we don't have any tracker conversions or any conversions after $45 ad spend or more, the rule will just block it. Another thing would be or another use case would be to pause high cost per acquisition ads, as often we may see that some ads tend to have a lower cost per acquisition as they warm up the visitor or excite the visitor more at the first stage than the other ads, or they're just sending visitors with more purchase or conversion intent to our landing page and offer. So let's say after $45 or $100, and after having more than 2 conversions, you have a cost per acquisition higher than you can accept, then you can pause the publisher. And this kind of rule goes can be implemented for any type of offer, like if it is if you're running e-commerce, like if you're promoting directly to your e-commerce store, affiliate offers, or whatever the direct offers, like whatever you're running. And another thing which is quite interesting, and I see a lot of guys messing up with and having a hard time dealing with, is scheduling their bids. So over the course of the day, a specific campaign may have specific bidding needs. So let's say you want to bid pretty low after 1 a.m. in the evening. So once 1 a.m. kicks in, you want to set the bid to the minimum possible without having to pause the campaign and being penalized for pausing the traffic. So in that case, what you want to do is that you want to create a rule like the first one here, where you set the bid of the campaign at 1 a.m. according to the specific time zone to 5 cents. Then at 10 a.m. the next day, what you want to do is that you want to rise the bid of the campaign to 25 cents. And this is quite a frequent use case, and the guys that run native traffic quite heavily have seen the benefits of playing with the bits in such ways. So in this case, what you want to do is that you want to select the hour that you want to place the new bid and select the execution frequency of every 1 hour. Uh, I can go over a specific example of creating such rules, so that you know exactly what time the rule will do the change. And as a third option, you can raise the bid to 45 cents once 7 p.m. or 19 Pacific U.S. Pacific time zone kicks in to set the bid to 45 cents. So what is happening actually is that let's say a lot of guys when playing with campaign level bids or playing with different bid levels over the course of the day are just going to campaign level bid and setting the bids to run daily, which runs at 12 a.m. our UTC time zone, or based on the time zone of our system, which may not be quite beneficial to the time zone where the campaign is running on. And to overcome that, and this is somehow a trick with the rules, and uh, it's no blame on you, but trying to keep the rules as simple as possible and making sure that all the functionalities are there, we had to make some compromises. So what you want to do here is that you want to select the hour of the day, and here you specify the time zone based on which your campaign is running on. So let's say I'm running a campaign on London time, and I want to have the bid set to a specific dollar amount. So let's say I'm setting it to 35 cents at 10 a.m. So instead of running this rule daily, I would like to run this rule hourly. So what it does is that once 10 a.m. London time zone kicks in, it will set the bid to 35 cents. So straightforward. If we want to increase the bid, let's say by once by 5 cents, we can do it, let's say, twice a day or 3 times a day, and by having it executed every 1 hour and having selected the hour of the day to specify at what times our rule will run, what we want to do is that we increase the bid here by 5 cents, and it's executed only once 10 a.m. kicks in, 2 p.m. kicks in, and the 7 p.m. kicks in. So we are sure that our bids are being increased by 5 cents only 3 times a day, and being set to and we can check how the performance changes. So another option would be to do it on a percentage base of the current bid, or the EPC, or the tracker EPC, traffic source EPC, earnings per session if you are using Google Analytics, or earnings per view if you're still using Google Analytics. So the flexibility in terms of platform usage and combination is quite large. So it's a matter of deciding of what metrics to use. So let's say I'm increasing this by 15% or 10% only 3 times a day. And what I will need to do next is to create a new rule where I will just set the bid or reset the bid on the campaign level at 1 a.m. So if hour of the day is on London time zone is 1 a.m., I will just set the bid to 15 cents. So I have this rule here, which resets the bid every day at 1 a.m. to 50 cents. And I have this other rule here, which increases the bid by 10% 3 times a day based on the current bid, just as an example. And I'm able to see what is going on with my campaign, or what is happening, or how the changes are affecting the performance of my campaign, to build another rule maybe better to my campaign needs or performance. And so one thing that we can do is that we can set the limits of the bid changes. So what we want to do here is like we don't want to go below 10 cents and we don't want to go above $1.5 per CPC. And this is quite useful if you unintentionally don't change the bids only 3 times a day, but you do only a rule like this. So like if traffic source spent or if tracker ROI is greater than 0 and conversions are greater than 0 or greater or equal to 1, and I've seen this kind of rule being implemented, you are increasing the bid every 20 minutes by 10%. And if you're not having this limit here, what will happen is that your account budget may be consumed by only a specific campaign because you are not setting any limits. And to avoid this kind of situations where you overbid over the whole network, so your bid for an amount of time of like 5 to 10 minutes, if you're lucky to catch it quickly. If your bid is the top at the network level, you may drain your budget like 2K, 5K, 10K, no matter what your account balance is, can be blown off. So to avoid this kind of situations, you set do not allow the bid higher than a specific amount, and to overcome this the scenario where you have a bid set extremely low, not to receive at least the minimum amount of traffic from a specific campaign, where can when sometimes can screw up your campaign, then you don't want to have it either. So by setting up the lower and the higher bid limits, you have an additional step to protect yourself from getting into any wild situation where it is hard to revert any changes. So another example with rule changes would be to change it based on EPC. So let's say if the tracker conversions are greater than 2, so you have at least 2 conversions where you're not optimizing based on a first lucky conversion, and you have a tracker ROI greater than 50%, what you want to do is that you want to set the bid to 75% of your EPC, and specifying the limits here to avoid the situation where you have a specific publisher, and this happens quite a lot on when we're playing with bids on the publisher level. So if you have a publisher that has an EPC of $5 at any given moment, then what you want to do is that you want to avoid bidding $4 or $3.5 or whatever the amount is, just because you have set to place the bid to 75% of the EPC. So in this case as well, you are covered with or you are protected of from making any mistakes just by setting the limits. And you can when playing with bids, I would say it is I would suggest to do it every few hours, like the most frequent every 1 hour, or if you are in any special situation, like you want to give a hard time to your main competitor, you can run the bid changes every 30 minutes or 20 minutes, but that won't give enough time to a specific visitor to interact with their ad, because the auction is on most networks is being done at the impression level, so they know what the bid would be when the user clicks on. So to make better decisions and to make better to analyze better your campaigns, you want to give at least an hour to the bid changes to be able to judge how the bid changes are affecting the performance of your campaigns. Also, another use case of playing with bids would be while excluding some specific widgets. So let's say you have some publishers where you have found the sweet spot in terms of bidding, and no matter what, you don't want to change it. So like you're playing with the landing pages, like you're rotating the landing pages and bringing up new content continuously, or refreshing the ads and still, or the offers, or another hypothetical situation that could be. So you're doing that, but you don't want to change the bid on those publishers. In this case, all you need to do is to enter the publishers on the widgets to exclude from this list, and whenever the bid change happens, that bid change is not being applied on a specific publisher. When working with odd bids, we do it we do it usually with MGID and Outbrain, and according to Outbrain and based on what they make available on their interface, you don't have an option to change the bids on the odd level. So through the interface, it's not possible, but it's definitely doable via the API. So by plugging in your Outbrain account at the optimizer, you are able to play with the bids. So whenever you see an ad which shows some strong click-through rate performance as well as conversion performance, what you want to do is that you want to give precedence to the odd level bid. So whenever you play with bids on the odd level, it will override the bid on the section or on the section level or campaign level. So it will be the highest level of the bid, and you will this way you make sure that you're maximizing the chances of a specific publisher or sorry to the chances of a specific ad to get the maximum views on all possible publishers. So moving forward with another example, as I mentioned, with e-commerce, you can do the add to cart or with custom conversions, which we currently support from Volume. You can do with custom conversions or Google Analytics events or other conditions that you may like you can combine the add to cart or cost per lead with specific examples. And if you're doing search arbitrage or CPC campaigns, and for those guys that run them, they know that they have a delay in terms of reporting of the revenue of around 24 hours or even sometimes 2 days. So you have to upload the conversions manually to your tracker in order to be able to have accurate statistics to make this optimization decisions. So in this case, what you want to do is that, and I've seen this working quite great for a lot of users of the optimizer, where you set the conversion and you tell your account manager at the offer network to send you conversions on live right at the time when the click happens, and you're going to report them on your tracker without revenue, so the revenue is zero, and you just keep track of the clicks happening on the search feed in order to optimize on today's data. And the next day, what you do is that you get the list of all sub IDs or click IDs from your tracker that converted and generated revenue and upload it to your tracker. So you do it on a daily basis without having to fly blind. So you always need to upload the revenue from the search or click arbitrage campaigns the next day on your tracker and upload the data, refresh the data on the optimizer. And when setting up rules, what you can do is that you can exclude today or yesterday from taken in consideration. So if you are optimizing based on the last 14 days and you're running CPC or search arbitrage campaigns, what you want to do is that you want to exclude today from the data considered on your campaign optimization rule or publisher optimization rule, because you don't want to optimize based on unreliable data, especially if you're doing it on the ROI level. Or you can exclude as well today and yesterday, in case it happens that sometimes you need more than one day to update the data of your campaigns. The Other thing I wanted to cover during this demo, which is uh, our new platform. It is called LanderLab, and it helps a lot with creating landing pages, which I know a lot of guys have quite a hard time to deal with. Sorry for the old slide, because I try to do my best on getting on the all the materials right on time, because we had a few suggestions from our users. But before moving forward with that, I don't know if you guys have any specific questions or any specific examples you would like me to move forward or show you on the optimizer before showing you the LanderLab or landing page building platform. Let's wait a minute in case we have any specific questions. I will need to check a bit also I will need to check a bit the forums where we are live on at the moment. Just a second, in case we have any questions there. All right. So let me move to. Okay. All right. I just messed it up. So let me log into to the optimizer. Just a second. To LanderLab. I will need to log in with my own account, as I don't have. I want to show it as an example with no data. Sorry, we have one question from Alex. In the very first use case, you showed how to block traffic sources that don't have much volume. Why would you need to get rid of low volume sources? I'm not sure that I went through an example with low volume sources. So basically, in the first example, I went on those publishers or sources where the landing page click-through rate was low, and we had no conversions. So in the first examples, we blocked sources based on traffic source clicks, and if you're paying 50 cents a click, with 50 clicks on the traffic source, you end up spending $25 on each publisher to get at least one landing page click and one conversion. So if that is the case and you're okay with that, you can increase the thresholds. Those are just for reference. The examples were just for reference, but in terms of making things make sense by the end of the day with campaign optimization, and since you're receiving traffic from more than just one publisher, then you don't want to leave much data to run, or you don't want to leave any publishers spend any considerable amount of time without converting first. If possible. Okay, we have another question. So before moving to LanderLab, I will have to go back to the optimizer once again. So Angel says, if possible, I would like to see on a profitable stable campaign, how much would be too much increase, and see if you recommend to try these new rules to keep up the campaign as it is. If you have a campaign which is profitable, and this happens quite usually on native, if you have a campaign which is profitable, and somehow it requires little to no maintenance at all. I'm talking here about campaigns that are being run for, let's say, 1 month or more, and are showing stable results. The only thing I would play around would be the bids, and I would only do that, let's say, twice a day or uh, 3 times a day at the most, without making any huge differences. In case I see that over the course of the day, after running stable, I see that my costs tend to increase, uh, not necessarily well, uh, at a specific time of the day. So in that case, I would just go and play around with it twice or 3 times a day. Increase the ones with the highest EPC. With the EPC rules, you have a better option that you can change the bid according to the EPC. So uh, sorry, whenever the bid or the EPC goes up, you increase the bid, and you make sure that you get a stable, profitable margin. So let's say if you get 50% from a specific site, of 50% ROI from a specific site, and you want to keep the ROI to 50%, what you want to do is that you want to set the bid to 50% of the EPC. So let's say if the site bid, yeah. So if the tracker ROI, or if the conversions, because we need to have these conditions, these kind of conditions here. So if conditions over the last 3 days were the tracker conversions were more than 3, and the tracker ROI is greater, sorry, is greater than 55%, I would like to set the bid to 50% of my EPC, but I will just like to do this, to execute this type of rule only a few times a day. So you have two options here. The first one would be, after setting the maximum bid, so let's say 1.5, and the minimum bid of 30 cents. The first option would be to execute it every 2 or 3 hours, or every 6 hours. And the other option would be to execute it on a specific schedule. So we add another condition here, like hour of the day, and we would like to make this change only at 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. after we have received the first chunk of traffic of the day, and we want to see how the performance was, or we want to change the bids based on the performance we had in the morning. But later during the day, you may need to increase the bid. But this is just an example, so you can do it at 1 p.m., 7 p.m., and on 11 p.m. One other thing that you can do, if you set it to every 30 minutes, like execute it every 30 minutes, you can do it like this. So you uncheck the 1 p.m. and you do it at 1:30, the same like you do it at 11:30 in the evening. So you have quite a lot of options here on how to play with bit changes. So I'm not sure if you all right. I have another comment. Here's the optimizer, let's say about 4 months. It has helped me to maintain this campaign profitable for a long time. But this technique I haven't applied yet, so thank you. All right, so that's why we are creating. Thanks Angel for the feedback. That is why we are running this kind of webinars, because as the platform evolves, we add more and more features, and by adding more features, we try to address more real world use cases that we receive feedback from our users. So in case you have a specific use case that you are not sure how to handle, or are not are not, do not know how to achieve it using automation, or we don't even support it, we can simply send us an email at support@theoptimizer.io, and we can check that and evaluate if that can be done first, and that also varies a lot based on what the API of the traffic sources we support has to offer or offers, and how much time it takes in terms of implementation, and how much value it will add to our other users. Thank you for the feedback, Angel. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, because I'm not sure from which country are you from. Yeah, it should be Angel, but thank you very much for the feedback. So it has taken quite a lot of time with the optimizer, and I don't want to keep you guys for much longer. So the new proposition we have for you is LanderLab, and what it will do is that the first off, you will not need to worry anymore about server maintenance, hosting the landing pages, either it being on specific managed servers, which cost a dime. Like they cost very much for the properties, and considering the amount of clicks that we send to, or affiliates tend to send to their campaigns, you don't have to deal with downtimes. Like, for some reason my server just went off, and I just wasted $500 last night while I was sleeping, and the server guy was not reachable, or he was not able to let's say check the problem or fix the issue on time. Also, there are some guys that host landing pages on Amazon S3, and that's quite a cost-effective solution, or quite an interesting solution. At least I used to use it quite a lot for myself, because I had to spend quite a small amount of time with creating distributions on CDN and stuff like that. But yet that is more simple now with LanderLab. The first thing is that, as I said, you don't deal with any of the server or tech side, and you don't have to, like, your main focus is making an offer convert and optimizing your campaigns. And the second one is that you can find lots of templates ready to use. And what we are doing now, we are still in beta, but we are doing that on a daily basis. What we are doing now is that we are adding every day new landing pages, and we are populating the database with lots of landing pages that you can easily pick and use for your campaigns. So let's say you're running a diet offer. So I'm just previewing. Sorry, guys. I'm just previewing this landing page, and if it's fine with me, or I like this landing page, I can view. I can view it how it looks on desktop, tablet, or mobile. And if I like it, I can click on use this template, and move to the landing page creation option. Now my account hasn't been set up properly, because I'm missing the domains and stuff like that. So the first thing to do is to add the domain name by adding the domain name. So let's say I'm adding offersnova.com as my landing page domain name. I will then get the name servers that I will need to put on my register account, from where I purchased the domain. Then once I've put it, I've set the name servers, and the domain appears as verified here. I will be able to publish the landing pages on online and publish them on the tracker. So the cool thing about the LanderLab is that you can edit the landing page without having to open a code editor. So let's say I'm opening this landing page on the editor, and I would like to change a few things. So the first thing is I want to add an image here. So by clicking edit image, I'm just selecting from my gallery and I'm setting the image here. I'm clicking on the other one and setting this other image here. And if I want, I can add the link to this image to increase the click-through rate of my lander. So I can edit the link and add the link here. So let's say I'm placing it, I'm sending it to LanderLab.io, or I can remove the link and just keep it as a simple image. Also, if needed, I can change the text here. So if I would like to change the text, so I'm changing the offer and I'm selling the killer torch for $10. So let's say get killer torch for just $15, like an extreme discount, then I can just do it here without having to download the landing page and go over the code editor. However, for the tech guys, there is a code editor that you can use to edit the landing page. So in case you want to edit a specific section, like let's say href, or let me find something that I can change with like whenever I have mosquito. So I will search for mosquito here. And my search, my browser search isn't working very well, but let's say I want to change this element here. So it works, or it worked good, or just change the ID here to another one. Let's say I'm setting the ID to 3, whatever you need to do, or let's say the click URL only on this section, or whatever change you want to do on the code level, you can do it. Also, if you have the or you would like to edit one of the style sheets, you can edit the style sheets from here, or the JavaScript from here, in case your landing page has one. In this example, we don't have any style sheet or JavaScript files attached to this landing page, and because of that, we are seeing no files. And if we want to change the CSS, we have to go to the inline CSS, which is placed at the header of our page. But it is doable. Like you can simply change like seniors here. Let's say I'm changing the text here. I'm doing it like seniors, thousands of seniors in, and I can place the city or the country in US have been investing in this amazing mosquito, or whatever the product is. Or you can change the copy and stuff like that, or you can even change the font weight or the line height of your advertorial here. So you just be compliant with it, but you don't want to be it very visible. So we just lowered the font weight here. Also, another cool thing about this is that after you save it, you don't even have to go to your tracker, but you can publish it after publishing the landing page. You can publish it directly to any of the supported trackers. So for the moment, we support only Volume, Binom, Funnelflux, Bmob, and RedTrack. So you can from now simply create a landing page and publish it to your tracker without even having to go to your tracker and create the landing page manually. Or you can grab the link of the landing page from here and set it up manually. So it's up to you. Another cool thing is that if you go to Applexity, you can import the landing pages directly from Applexity to the optimizer, so you don't have to download them on your desk and upload them back to LanderLab. But for the moment, but as an alternative, you can upload it from a zip, select from a template, or select an empty template that you can use. So it's quite flexible. So I would invite you guys to use it. It's still on beta and it's free. So for any questions or any features that you would like to see on LanderLab, make sure to send us a message at support@theoptimizer.io or support@landerlab.io, where we can get back to you as soon as possible, as well as evaluate any of your requests. Also, if you see a landing page on Applexity that you don't have the time, or you are not quite good at seeing the code, uh, but you would like to use it on your campaigns, you can send a link to us, or you can send us the zip file that you see that you get from the spy tools. Send it over to the optimizer with your account username, or to support at LanderLab.io with your account username, and we will make sure to upload and add that landing page to the templates, or clean that out for you. So this is pretty much what I had. So you can sign up for LanderLab free without even having to add the credit card. And in case you have any specific questions, even after this webinar, make sure to post them to submit them at support@theoptimizer.io. Or in case you are watching this demo from any of the forums, make sure to leave a comment in the comments section in the forum, and I will try to get back to you with a real example of how to deal or how to achieve a specific result, either it being with the optimizer, or how to import or run some edits on your landing page. So thank you guys. Oh, I have a question here about the real estate lenders. I don't think we have much templates about real estate, but you can see this one is on finance. We have on product, e-commerce, but if you have a specific landing page like that you would like to see over here, just make sure to send us an email, or send us a request at support@landerlab.io or support@theoptimizer.io, and we will add the landing page. No matter what the traffic source that you are planning to run the landing page is, we will try to add it as soon as possible. So make sure to send us the link, your LanderLab account username, and you will have it like in a matter of less than 24 hours, or over the next business day that from the moment that you send the landing page to us. All right, guys. I don't know if you have any other questions about LanderLab or the optimizer, or if you happen to have found yourself in a specific situation that you had a hard time to deal with in terms of optimizing your campaigns. Just make sure to post your questions, or if not, after this webinar, as we are already 1.5 hours live and we are already above our schedule, make sure to ask that, and we will try. I will try to give you a real a live example, or get back to you with a reply from our contact points. Thank you guys. And for any of you who didn't make it to the webinar, I will send you the link to the replay so that you can watch it later to your leisure. And as I said, just uh, just let us know about anything. And yes, the questions and requests can be sent to support at theoptimizer.io. Thank you guys and have a great evening. Bye bye.